Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to hell! Welcome to the show! Welcome to Finish Him Friday. We're gonna finish this jib jab. Look, the canopy's mounted. I had to file away the end of Whoop Wednesday. I started to file away at the outsides of the canopy. I had to do a bunch more to clearance the camera. It's super simple. You put the camera in there. You'll see it'll bind up, file away a little bit more material, keep putting the camera in there until the lens fits properly. This is a DIY hobby, my friends. Sometimes you gotta file some shit. And then through the M1.2 by 10, I don't know where the by 12 screws went, but the 10s were plenty long, and popped an antenna on here. And had to clearance the back of the canopy. We'll take a look at that in a little bit here. All pretty straightforward stuff. Test fit it. The stuff that doesn't fit, file or cut pieces of plastic away, and away you go. I don't know what's going on with my nose. It has just decided to go rogue. I apologize. Not much I can do. Welcome, friends. How are you? How's everybody doing this fine Friday evening? You made it through another week of work. You didn't die. Congratulations. My hat's off to you. Cloudhopper with a $10 super chat. I already He says, I attempted to bribe to get you to look at your email concerning the antenna mod. You didn't have to do that, brother. I appreciate it, though, very, very much. This is a completely crowd-funded operation we got going on here. If you like this live stream and would like to see it grow and or continue, head on over to www. Why do I sometimes say www? Everybody knows what a fucking website is. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com, and there's a bunch of ways you can support me. Patreon helps me out the most. There's a whole bunch of affiliate links, which are completely free for you to use. Replace your bookmarks with the affiliate links. Replace your friends' and family's bookmarks with the affiliate links. I don't care what you do, but it's free money. Try to use an affiliate link every time an order gets done, and a content creator making fun, free stuff for you to watch here on YouTube will survive to live another day. What do you think of that? What did I sniff that's got my nose all jacked up? Hey, I have a whole bunch of 6S XT30 batteries for sale. GNB 550, Tattoo R-Line 550, Tattoo R-Line 650, and another GNB 550. These are absolutely brand new. I charged them up once and then discharged them, and they're sitting at 3.8. Let me know if you're interested. I also have a set of RC and Power Wasps, the 22.5 by 6.5 1860 kV set of 5 brand new Wasps. Let me know if you're interested. You got to act quick though. I'm here tonight. I'm here tomorrow during the day. Tomorrow night I have a gig, and that's it. Sunday morning at some absurd time, like 6:30 or something like that, our little family here flies up north for National Lampoon's New York and New Jersey vacation. For the next week, I will not be back in town until July 1st. We'll probably have a live stream July 1st. That's that Monday night. We should have a live stream that night. And it's a giveaway live stream, so now is an awesome time to join the Patreon so you can get in on either 1 or 3 of the giveaways on that live stream. Every first Monday of the month, we do that. 4 giveaways, 3 of them are for patrons. $5 a month tier enters you to win Tiny Whoop and toothpick parts. $10 a month tier enters you to win 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewhoop parts. $20 a month, 5-inch parts. $30 or up, all 3. You get entered into all those giveaways. So join the Patreon, $5 tier and up, and you'll be entered to win on July 1st. And when you win something, it's anywhere between like $50 to $100 worth of stuff. So if you're on the $5 tier and you win, that just covered like the next 10 months minimum of your Patreon membership. So that's a pretty good deal, isn't it? In the chat, Cloudhopper was first, Northern Tier was next, Tongue Out FPV, Hockey Rounds, Douglas Otwell, Weber FPV, Daniel 1964, FPV Toast, Tom Johnson, Rocket Tech, Volusia, McMucus, Bergeron, Troy Prelog, Kilo Zebra, Hendrix Freakazoid, BLD, Max L, Curtis Hayes, Hockey Rounds, County FPV, 10-second runtime. What's up, everybody? Cloudhopper, thank you again for the $10 super chat. Here is the email that he sent me. I'm going to try to not show his email address. Looks like Apple's got my back. Yeah, this is going to weigh pretty much exactly the same as the super lightweight antenna mod that we've been talking about. Basically, the super easy button for ultra lightweight antennas is just to take your regular old whip antenna, remove the big chunk of shrink wrap here, and then there's this big knobbly bastard is a big silver shit, and you just remove that. You take the tip of your soldering iron up on the top, and you pull that off. This mod here is going to require you to do that, but then you're also going to have to cut the active element of the antenna off here at the base, and then here you're going to need to measure this distance, 12.5 millimeters. It's shown here, and you're going to have to strip back the black plastic, just the black. Underneath that black is this braiding. It's shielding, basically. And so you're going to strip back the black silicone, leave the braiding here, and then as it says here, you're going to poke a hole in the braiding, and then you're going to pull that braiding down off of this. You're going to create a new active element here, and you're going to pull that braiding down, and then you're going to make this 120-degree angle, and this clear plastic is just clear, like seller tape, vinyl tape, whatever. And then you double that vinyl tape up so it sticks to itself, right? And you can make your own V-style antenna. Or if you don't want to do that, and if you have a couple of dollars to spend, what you're making is the ORT antenna. So it looks, if that looks pretty familiar, this is why. Because that is the exact same thing that ORT has done with their micro V antenna. So if you don't want to do that work, you can just spend $7 on this V antenna, although it looks like they're all sold out, which is super annoying because I actually need a couple more of these damn things. But yeah, see that? There's that 120-degree angle. If you look really close, you can see the trace here. And so this is what the ORT micro V antenna is based upon, is that 120-degree angle. And so this part is just the grounding, is the shielding, the ground, and then this is the active element here. Who has seen this ORT micro V antenna in stock elsewhere? Anybody know where else it's in stock? But yeah, very, very cool stuff. Thank you for sending that over, Cloudhopper. It's, you know, we've all got a ton of these whip antennas sitting around. This is not very hard to do. Measure this out, cut the black silicone, remove that, mess around with the braiding. They're talking about like poking a hole. Yeah, poke a hole in the shield braid to feed the coax center through. I can't visualize in my head exactly how to do that, but I'm sure if I started screwing around with one, I would figure it out. And yeah, you want to get these lengths as close as possible, 12.5 millimeter, 12.5 millimeter, and then that 120-degree angle. So yeah, really, really cool stuff. Thanks for sending that over, Cloudhopper. Yeah, that's super slick. Free micro V antennas. That antenna setup is going to weigh ever so slightly less than the ORT micro V, which is very cool as well. My guess is going to be it's like 0.1 or maybe 0.2 of a, I don't know, 0.1 of a gram lighter would be my guess. But hey, with Tiny Whoops, we're going for the fractions of a gram for sure. Because we're starting to find like all of the places where we can save actual weight, so we're having to really struggle to find other places that we can save weight. I haven't had a chance to mount the motors up to this thing, so I'm just going to be doing that here under the camera while we talk through chat. This, as they all are, is a Q&A live stream, so ask any questions that you've got in the chat, and we will talk about them. OG folks, if you see somebody asking a good question but they've forgotten to tag me, copy it, paste it, tag me. When I say tag me, what I mean is just typing CiottiFPV. You don't have to put an @ in front of it, but you certainly can if it makes you feel better. By typing someone's name into a live stream chat and spelling it correctly, for that person, their name is going to light up in a different color. On YouTube here, it's orange. And so that's a way to get somebody's attention in the chat that you're kind of talking to or that you want to ask a question to. So yeah, feel free to do that for me. I answer all of the questions. I read all of the chat comments where my name has been tagged in. If you forget to tag my name, I won't read it. So don't get pissed off at me. But the folks that have been around here a while, they'll help you out if you start to get all pissed off. So yeah, there's that. Sniffly bastard. 10-second runtime says, how thick would you say your 2S Walksnail stack is with the flight controller and the VTX? I'm wondering if the Betaflight AIO will give me a thinner stack than my current setup. It's really I ran grommets that are a little bit too tall. I have cranked these screws down to pull the two boards together a little bit closer, but still, I know what you're asking, but like I don't think me measuring it is really going to help. It's actually pretty tall. There's still a pretty big gap in between the two boards. And like, I don't necessarily want to crank these screws down any tighter because they're already pretty tight. Like they're already, yeah, the screws are already. I guess I could tighten this front one down a little bit, but the side screws are, yeah, they're cranked. Getting these two boards closer together is really difficult. There's almost always going to be like something tall on the AIO that's going to interfere. And so, yeah, every single board is going to be completely different with how close you can get it. You can kind of see there. So on this Betaflight version 3 board, this JST plug that we're looking straight at here is the highest point. And you can see that it's pretty damn close to that's like the main processor there. It's really hard to see it, but yeah, I mean, that's really as close as we're going to get them. So, I mean, yeah, you can just kind of look at pictures. If you're thinking about doing a Walksnail setup, whatever AIO you have, just take a look at the top side of it and see what the tallest thing is. And that's going to really be what sets the stack height. I talked to Gruss FPV from Rotor Riot a bunch at Rampage. He's been flying Vision 20s quite a bit, and he says that he hasn't. So like the one of the main concerns that I've always had is that, yeah, we're putting these two stacks and then we're just running these like janky looking M1.2 screws down, which like you would think would be super weak, but neither myself nor Tyler is his human name, have broken the screws or the frames from that setup. So for whatever reason, it's actually not that much of a weak point. So yeah, we don't actually need to worry as much about the stack being super tall. I mean, at a certain point, I'm sure that it would become a problem. But if you're thinking about it, and if you're trying to get the two boards somewhat close together, it feels like you're going to be just fine. So yeah, build it. Whatever you got, throw it together. And I mean, the worst case scenario is it's going to break the frame, and that's like a $4 repair. And I guess technically you could rip the camera off and maybe like ruin a MIPI cable or whatever, but like, yeah, it's not going to do that much damage. I mean, it's a tiny whoop, right? You're not going to be flying it that hard. You kind of can't fly it that hard. Chronic Nugget with a $5 super chat. Thank you, homie. He says, happy Friday. I've been distracted by my 3-inch, but got reminded how fun tiny whoops are with my new 75mm with the iGao motors. Do you run 300 mAh, 450? I run a mix. Lately, I've been running the 450 mAh batteries, just out of kind of laziness, but I do also like running them on the 300 mAh batteries. I have a little foam piece that goes into the fatter battery bay and adapts it to the smaller batteries. But yeah, more recently I've been just running the WeBleed 450 BT 2.0 batteries. They're not that much heavier. That's not true. They're a lot heavier, but it handles the extra weight totally fine, and the extra runtime is nice. So yeah, the WeBleed 450s are awesome. I think Tiny Whoop also has a 450 BT 2.0 battery that you can run. So yeah, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Hendrix Freakazoid says, did you see Emacs has a new open source battery connector? I did. That's supposed to be better than BT 2.0. I did, yeah. You know, not to be outdone by the other company that makes things that are specific and then tries to... Look, Emacs and Betaflight are notorious for doing things that maybe it's on purpose, maybe it's not on purpose, but they're the two companies that are sort of the most notorious for making stuff that's specific to them. Different bolt patterns for motors, different bolt patterns for propellers. Those are both Emax things. Frames that, like, yeah, Betaflight has a couple of frames that just straight up don't work with Walksnail AIOs or anybody else's AIOs that I know of. And so Betaflight made the BT 2.0 plug, didn't outsource it, kept it kind of locked down. It's, you know, they're allowed to do that. It sucks that they did it for all of us, right? But, like, they're allowed to do it. And so, not to be outdone, Emax said, hold my beer! We'll make a plug that's better than the BT 2.0. Look, it doesn't matter that it's better than the BT 2.0. The BT 2.0 plug on 1S batteries is not, certainly doesn't seem to be any kind of a bottleneck. And the new, I'm not even going to show you the new Emax plug. It's not even worth it. It looks a lot like the BT 2.0, but it's like semicircular. The long and the short of it is, nobody's going to make the batteries with this Emax plug. The only batteries that are going to be available with it are going to be Emax branded batteries, which is not a terrible thing because I believe, and do not quote me on this, but it certainly looks like in the past that Emax batteries are actually made by GNB. And that's a good thing in a way because GNB makes good batteries. Where it is probably not a good thing and where I really don't care about this new plug is that GNB does not have a folded cell battery. And so, in theory, probably, this new battery plug is only going to be available on Emax branded GNB batteries. They're not going to be folded cell, and they're not going to perform worth a good goddamn because they're not going to be folded cell. In terms of 300 mAh, up at like 450 and whatnot, sure, it'll be totally fine. Rolled cell batteries are fine up at those higher mAh levels, but it's, yeah, I don't care. There's the BT 2.0 is available on a bunch of different batteries. It works totally fine. There's a 180 degree version of it, which is amazing. There's the open source A30 version of it, which is made by GNB. Well, I guess it's not made by GNB. It's made by whoever wants to make it, but it was created by GNB. So yeah, the new Emax connector. Look, it's great that Emax is going to stop using PH 2.0 and they're going to be putting connectors on their stuff that flows properly. But for us, you know, we're never going to run that plug on anything other than an Emax bind and fly. And so what do I care? You know? But it's great for Emax that they'll have a better plug available for their stuff. You know, that's good news. Why am I missing one? Never mind. It was right there in front of me. Again, I'm just bolting the motors up to this 2S Freestyle Walksnail build. You guys want to start a pool in the chat for whether or not this thing will catch on fire as soon as I hook a battery up to it? Anybody? Any takers? I would, with how things have been going with my builds lately, I would actually bet against myself. I would bet for fire. Actually, I'm going to make a poll. This is a terrible idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. Start a poll. Ask a question. Will it catch on fire? Yes? No? Start poll. There you go! How much confidence do you guys have in my building ability? Let's see. Chronic Nugget, thank you again for the super chat. LOL, the kid is on with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, homie. He says, looking for more power on the 3-inch. Recommendations to replace 1404 3500 kV running 4S 35 amp ESC 210 grams with battery, great streams, building ultimate 65mm whoop zoom. You just need more KV. 1404s make a ton of power, but on 3-inch, we don't have, most of the motors do not have enough KV. I went down this path a couple of years ago, and I moved away from 1404s to 1504 and a halves, to 1506s, to 1505s, to 1604s, to 1804s. And then about a year ago, they finally made 1404s in higher KVs, 4,000, 4,500, 4,600. And so I said, you know what, let me go back to 1404s and just try them with the higher KV and see what's what. And yeah, the king of the 1404s at the moment is the T-Motor 4600 KV. That will make so much more power than those motors you have on there right now. You will not believe it. And you won't gain any weight. You won't lose any runtime. You might actually gain runtime because the T-Motors are super efficient. They're a brilliant motor. At 210 grams all up, 1404 is absolutely the right motor. 3500 kV is absolutely not the right kV. It's not your fault, though. It's all of these motor manufacturers' faults for not getting their heads out of their ass and cranking up the kV on these motors, because if we don't want the extra kV, we can just go into Betaflight and motor limit it down or throttle cut it. And so, yeah, it's not your fault, dude. Most of the motors are around 3500 kV, and that's just a dumb kV. That's like a 5S kV for a 1404. And like a 1404 is a motor for 3-inch propellers. It's not a 3.5-inch propeller motor. And so, yeah, the 3000 kV, 3500 kV is just a stupid kV because 3-inch propellers need more RPM than that. So yeah, not your fault. Motor manufacturers are dumb when it comes to micromotors. Most micromotors are too low of a kV. To be honest, in my opinion, 4600 kV is still not enough. 1404s should be offered in 5000 kV, 5500, 6000 kV, and then we can run them on 4S. We can even run them on 3S. On 4S, we can motor limit them down. Yeah, most 3-inch props are very low pitch. And so, yeah, super frustrating, man. Sorry that you wasted money on those 3500 kV 1404s. Somebody will buy them on Facebook Marketplace, guaranteed. Just don't tell them. Oh my God, look at the poll. You guys have confidence in me. 64% say no. That's very kind of you people. You're wrong, but, you know, it's nice of you to say. I'm going to plug a battery in without the motors plugged in first. That's about all you can do. You know, with these tiny little batteries, we don't really have smoke stoppers. So, yeah. I'm going to plug this battery in without the thing in the place. Without the motors plugged in. It's not going to make any difference. But let's do it anyway. Here we go. The motors are mounted, not plugged in yet. I'm just going to power up the AIO, which is going to in turn power up the Walksnail VTX, and we'll see if it explodes. Ready? Wait, no, let me end the poll. End poll. Only 39% of people think that this is going to release smoke made of unicorn jizz. Anybody else do that? Anybody else like plug things in really quick as if electricity doesn't travel instantaneously? It's worth a shot, you know? It's not smoking. There's also not any lights turning on though, which is not a good sign. I might just not be plugging the battery in far enough. Hey, there's a light! There's a flashing light. The AIO is powering up. The VTX is not, though. Oh, no, hey, there's the VTX powering up. Look at all those flashing lights. Whee! All right, well, it hasn't blown up yet. let's plug the motors in. It's always so weird plugging these things in without motors hooked up because it doesn't beep, right? Like the motors are what's vibrating to make the beeps. It's always super weird. All right, so let's get these motors plugged in while I continue to work through Chad. All of you people that said it was going to blow up, eat it! Up yours, you faithless, godless whores. Man, do I not blame you. Hold on. No, Jesus. How do I forget things so much? Am I this? Is this how old I am? Am I that old? Look at that. That looks better. If you guys ever see this shirt for sale anywhere, this Gem Fan shirt, buy it. This is the softest shirt in the entire world. This is the softest shirt
in the world.
The VRX fell off the ceiling. What the hell, man? Get back up there. You. Nobody said you could fall off the ceiling. Hold on. Come on. Stay up there this time. Stay up there. You jackass. I'm actually going to put a little dab of E6000 up there. Maybe that'll hold it. The little cable clips. So I'm using these little cable clip things, and the adhesive that they come with is pretty good, but it's not the greatest. So I'm going to use a little bit of E6000. If the adhesive stays up there for the next 24 hours and lets this E6000 cure, I bet you it'll be fine. I've never done this before. This is groundbreaking stuff right now. Hey, we're gonna fly 6 batteries tonight too. What do you think of that? Come on, adhesive, stay. All right, there's one little blob on this side. Put a little blob on this side too. All right. I'm going to put one more little blob on the front. It's taking most of the weight. Nah, you know what? I'll leave it like that. We'll see how that does. Is anybody else like completely obsessed with E6000? I love it so much. I love how sticky it is. I love how clear it is. And I really love how easy it is to peel off. You just use your fingernail and it all comes off in one big blob like hot glue. It's the most magical shit ever. Whee! Something smells. I think somebody's making broccoli upstairs maybe. It smells like, you know how broccoli, like, it doesn't smell bad, but it also doesn't smell good? That's what it smells like in here. It smells odd. One of the funniest descriptions of what burning or slipping or hot clutch, like clutch as in a car, one of the funniest descriptions of that smell, it's a very specific smell, is that it smells like burning broccoli. I don't know what burning broccoli smells like, and I don't know if clutch smells like burning broccoli, but for whatever reason, if you think of what burning broccoli smells like, and then you slip the clutch on a car too hard, you'll be like, yeah, I can see it. Oh man, so my dad and I have been, now that my dad is home from, my mom and dad have this big beautiful RV, and they're geniuses, right? So once it gets cold in New Jersey, they just pack their shit up and get the fuck out of there. If there's not a smarter thing to do, I don't know. Because you get to live in New Jersey when it's nice, and then as soon as it gets miserable, you say, I'm out. And if there's no other measure of genius, I don't know. I don't know what there is. So yeah, they're home now, and so my dad has a sim rig at home, and PS4 and GT7 and whatnot, and we've been making lobbies and then racing together in Gran Turismo 7, and it's been an absolute blast. I've had so much fun. We did it Sunday, and then we did it last night, and yeah, it's just super fun. Don't even if you do this, even if your father or mother, racing has no bounds. There's gender is a social construct anyway. Even if they're 70, don't let them get too much practice, because they'll kick your ass, yo. Just because you're young, that don't mean shit. Just because you're younger. My dad's fucking fast. And so, yeah, I have to, I find myself, like, bouncing back and forth to find, like, a fast car. And like, he doesn't have years and years and years of motorsport background like I do. And so, yeah, I find myself having to use, like, I'll go in there like, I'll be fine. Let me just take this. This car's not that fast, but it'll be fun. And he's just gone. Like, and I find myself having to, like, gradually pick faster and faster cars to be able to keep up with them. So yeah, that's super cool. Runs in the family, yo. Driving fast runs in the family. Apparently, it's genetic. It's not. It just takes work. Man, this battery does not fit in here worth a good goddamn. That's okay though. Details. Hey, look. Let's see if it blows up now that the motors are hooked up. It might, because I had to solder the motor plugs on, and there was one of them where the solder blobs were a little bit big. There it was. That's the BL Heli. But up. All right, I'm gonna do that again, and I'm gonna keep a finger on each motor here, and then I'm gonna do it again. I want to. You should be able to feel the motors firing up. Ready? So, all right. So I'm gonna cradle it like this. I got middle finger on each motor, and let's see. Sometimes it's really hard to feel them, but sometimes you can. I can't really feel them. We'll spin them up in Betaflight and take a look. Okay, so it's got motors on it. Let's weigh it. Hold on. Propellers. Where are you? I think they're in here. Yay! I know where I put things. Back to Chad. T-Blood says Team Black Sheep has the ORT antenna in stock. That is awesome for everybody that's outside of the U.S. For those of us inside the U.S., TBS shipping takes quite a while, unfortunately. It's kind of expensive too, I think. Their shipping. Oh wow, I'm hold on. I'm super behind on chat. Hold up. Kevin James says hello. County FPV says, what's your recommendation for outdoor 5-inch analog antenna, also video channel? Currently running Lumineer AX2 circular and AX2 patch on R8. Just curious. I leave everything on R8, but technically speaking, what you should do, because it takes 4 seconds and it does make a difference, is band scan. And you want to band scan at each different location that you fly at, because each different spot is going to have different Wi-Fi antennas blasting God knows what. So yeah, when the real way to do it for analog, especially if you're not flying with other people, is every single location, when you get there, just flip your module into band scan, and it'll show you which channels have the most noise. Those are the ones you want to stay away from. Which ones have the least noise. Those are the ones you want to run. R8 is usually pretty good, though. I mean, if it's totally fair to just leave everything on R8, because then you don't have like certain rigs on one, and then you're not having to switch channels up and down, back and forth, left and right. So yeah, nothing wrong with just sticking on R8, but analog sucks, and so it doesn't suck. Analog for life, but it sucks. And so we got to, to get it to not suck, there's things that we can do, and band scanning is one of those things, to find the channel that's got the least garbage on it. And most receiver modules have band scan somewhere in there. So yeah, you can do that. That's your best bet. And then in terms of antenna, any antenna that's made by TrueRC is going to be awesome. The Axie antennas are made by TrueRC. So yeah, you've probably already got one of, if not the best antenna. With 5-inch Freestyle, I break tons of antennas. And so for me, the best 5-inch Freestyle antenna is the one that hasn't been destroyed yet, which, like I said, happens pretty quick, unfortunately. But yeah, that's if you shake the antenna and it's not rattling, and if you haven't like drastically had the video get worse after your most recent crash, you're doing pretty good. 5-inch rigs are brutal on antennas. And so, yeah, just try to run one that hasn't been demolished yet, and you'll be in pretty good shape, regardless of who it's made by or what it is, or, all that good stuff. I'm building yet another rig, props in here at the moment. So we'll see. And these two props are going to fly off, mark my words. This is now ready to be weighed. We've got camera canopy, Walksnail Light VTX, Betaflight AIO, Flywoo 1002s that are going to get motor limited down quite a bit. Just a whip antenna because I don't have an extra TrueRC Singularity at the moment. BT 3.0. So a maybe good. Oh, and then this is the Modula 7 V3 frame. Maybe a good 2S Freestyle Walksnail rig weighs 33.81 grams. 33.81. And so if we compare that to the best 1S Walksnail rig that I've been able to build, which I'm still not really all that happy with. It doesn't have enough power and it doesn't have enough runtime. We go from 33.8 grams for 2S, dry, these are dry weights, 33.81, 33.8, call it, to 30.3. That's not too bad. 3.5 extra grams. And this is on the lighter weight motors. This is on the 0802.6 VCI motors, which the runtime is really short with. If I put this onto 1002s, it would gain like 2 grams, and these things would be damn near the same weight. The all-up weight is where things are going to really change here. So all-up weight on the 2S build with the Tiny Whoop 300 mAh batteries is 48.85 grams. Just call it 48.8. So 48.8 for the 2S setup. The 1S setup on these tiny little 550s, which the runtime kind of sucks on, 42.8. A little bit of a better comparison, though, a more fair comparison, is to use these 550 mAh 1S cells. And when I use these, which have slightly better, a little bit better runtime, but still not enough runtime, we come up to 44.3 grams. 550 is slightly less than 2S 300, right? 2S 300, two 300 mAh cells 600 mAh total. 1S, 550 mAh total, right? So this is still, should be a slightly lighter battery. Let's take a look. The 550 battery is 14 grams. The 2S 300 is, wow, 15 grams. This is a really light battery. This is a really, really, really light battery. These Tiny Whoop 2S 300s, for the amount of amperage that they, milliamps that they have, are extremely lightweight. I also think that these 550s might be a little bit heavier than they need to be. Again, 14 grams. The 450s are, I guess it's about right, 12.4 grams. Yeah, so I guess it's not a heavy 550. I think that these Tiny Whoop 300s are just a really, really light battery, which is awesome. You know, that we're lucky. Hopefully this thing flies good, and then yes, we are lucky to have these batteries, and we'll buy them all. So yeah, there's some weights for you. Now the difficult part, binding everything up, getting it into Betaflight, getting it up in the air. First thing I want to do is make sure that all the motors spin. So this board forgoes the USB port, and so they give you this wacky little JST to USB setup here, which admittedly is annoying, but it's worth it, I think. You kind of have to do it because a lot of these, the 2S batteries are big and fat, and most of these 2S frames tuck the battery up, and and when that happens, there's not enough room for a USB port. I don't understand how they do that, because like this is the only AIO that I know of that doesn't have the USB port hanging out the bottom, but whatever. Luckily, let me show you guys something really cool about this Mobula 7 V3 frame. So in the front, it's got the regular ducts, right? The duct is the same. Die, Logitech! There we go. It's got like the regular thickness ducts all the way around, right? Like you would expect on most frames. Look what they did in the back, though. In the back, they dropped the inside of the duct down. You see it? And that, if they hadn't done that, I would not be able to plug into this damn thing. So I think I might have to run this frame. Although the Mobula 7 V4 frame does the same thing. You see the little step down there? See it there in the middle of the frame? You can see the step. They do the step down in the front too. The Meteor 65 airframe does not do that. I don't think any of the Betaflight frames do that. So they might not really work for this particular setup. But yeah, that steps down, and then if I hold the camera down low, you can see I can just plug right in there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plug in there. You know, you guys don't necessarily need to see that. I'm just plugging a cable in. Pins up. So let's see how much of a pain in the ass this is. Not a pain in the ass at all. That went right on in there. Yep. Amazing. Making sure it's plugged all the way in. And now we've got our USB port hanging off. The pain in the ass is going to be when you lose this. Hopefully Betaflight sells just that. Because, yeah, whenever you've got like specific stuff like this, inevitably that's the thing that you're going to lose. So we are plugged in. The lights are flashing. Let's fire up Betaflight here and see if it connects. Let me keep trying to get caught up on chat. BLD says those ORT antennas are nice. You don't lose your ground plane. Hell yeah. They're also very, very lightweight. Douglas Otwell can't find the ORT antennas anywhere. Yeah, I haven't been able to find them anywhere other than race day quads. I really wish I'd snagged more than just the two. Cloudhopper says, I discovered that my 30,000 kV and 33,000 kV 0802 rewinds on my 75mm bashers are much happier with Bluejay. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Bluejay Advanced set to 30 degrees. They don't like to sync on ARM if set lower. That's interesting. I have not had that experience. But that is maybe I'll play around with the motor advance. That is cool stuff. All right, so this flight controller, it looks like, comes with 4.4.1 installed. I'm going to leave it. There's really nothing in 4.5 that's all that interesting to me. So I'm going to leave this ESC firmware here. Let's go to the motors tab and see what the hell happened. Well, yeah, what the hell? Let's just see what happens. I think it still has Bluejay on it. I'm sorry. I think it still has BL Heli on it. We are going to switch to Bluejay, but I mean, whatever. Let's just see if the motors spin. Just out of curiosity. Battery is plugged in. Let's go one at a time. Motor 1 is good. Motor 2 is hitting on something. That's interesting. What are you hitting on, Motor 2? Well, whatever it was hitting on, it has self-clearance, and it's spinning. That's great. Motor 3, good to go. Motor 4. Motor 4 is hitting on something, too. My guess is they're hitting on... Yeah, they're hitting on the bottom of the frame. That'll be a problem for turtle mode, but whatever. They'll self-clearance. They're hitting on the supports of the frame. I'm guessing that this Modula 7 V3 frame was designed for taller motors. But the first time we turtle mode, it'll spin backwards and it'll drive the propellers downwards and it'll clearance the tips of the propellers and or the frame itself. So it'll be fine. Cool. Nothing blew up. That's amazing. Let's get this onto Bluejay, first and foremost. And just trying to get this battery unplugged here. All right, cool. I just want to keep this thing from getting too hot. Speaking of, let's get the gangly fan out and fired up. Rockcrawler says, hey. T-Blood says, no, we got that. Walter says there should be some airflow between the PCBs. Yeah, we have lots of airflow on this rig. Walter also says, with 4 MB4 alts, you can pick up a school bus. What the hell does that mean? What's a... Oh, with... What? With 4 adults, you can pick up a school bus? I'm missing something. Jeff Classic says, I made it closer by 2 or 3 millimeters more than yours by scraping a little bit of that female breakaway. It lined up with one of the ICs of Walksnail. Damn, Jeff, it sounds like you're really making them close. I mean, that's a good thing, unless they start to overheat. But, yeah, I mean, the Walksnail VTX overheats pretty instantly anyway, so what the hell? Might as well. But, dude, that's dope. You're putting them really close together. I like it. I am a fan of that. Speaking of fans, fuck you. Gangly fan is operational. All right, let's get this into ESCconfigurator.com. All right, plugging in USB, grabbing battery, plugging in battery, make sure Betaflight is disconnected, which it is. Click connect here, click read settings down in the bottom right. Oh wow, it's on Bluejay, no way. And it's on Bluejay 0.19 though. So it looks like the version, the ESC version is CX70. So let's try to find a 0.16 version of CX70. I'm going to unplug the battery. CX70. All right, let's see what we got here. Bluejay version 0.16. Here's the link to this coming in chat. I find Bluejay 0.16 to be the best version of Bluejay. What did I say? CX70? It probably won't be in here, but it's worth a shot. No, it's not. We've got CH, bunch of CHs, bunch of CLs, and that's it. No more C's. Just in case they're like weirdly out of order, let's scroll down. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, TUVWZ. Yeah, no. So we don't have any. So we cannot put this. We cannot put this ESC onto Bluejay 0.16. Hopefully 0.19 is okay. It's not telling me what the PWM frequency, which is weird. Usually it'll say Bluejay 0.19 48K or whatever. So let's go into flash all ESCs. What the fuck? Where's the drop down? There should be a fourth drop down here. What? Where's the PWM frequency drop down? What the hell? Okay. That's weird. I guess the PWM frequency is a mystery. That is super weird. Okay, I'm going to write settings to lock in the 2-minute beacon delay and the brake on stop. And I guess that's all we're going to do in here. Okay. That's confusing. Yeah, okay. Let me get the motor spin in the right direction. I'm confused, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it. So I'm setting it to props in. And now we're going to come in here into the motor direction wizard. Now this is 2S, so I am going to like kind of put my hand on it and hold it a little bit, just in case. Start and spin. All right, motor 1 is backwards. Click it to reverse it. Now it's correct. Motor 2, which is the one that's clicking, is backwards. Click it to reverse it. Now it's correct. Motor 3 is backwards. Click it to reverse it. It's now right. Motor 4. Motor 4 is backwards. All right, so they were all spinning the wrong direction. But now they're all spinning the right direction. Stop motors. Close. That's now locked in. I'm going to turn this on, and I'm just going to clearance these motors. I'm just going to clearance them by spinning them up a little bit. And you can already hear that it's quieter, and motor 2 is the other one that's being a dick. It's already been clearanced in, so we're fine. Click that. And... alright, we're good. I'm going to pull the battery so that the VTX stops getting all overheated and shit. Alright, now we got to do a full Betaflight setup. But let me read through chat a little bit first to get a little more caught up there in case there's some questions about what we're doing here. Rocketech says, picked up a Mobile 6 Eco with WeBleed bleeders on a crown frame. That frame seems really flimsy. Should I plan to replace it? Your opinion on the crown frame? Crown frame is like my second/third favorite frame. My favorite is the Newbie Drone Cockroach 65 V3. Second favorite is I think at this point, the Light AF. The Cockroach 65 Light AF in white. Make sure you don't get it in black. The black is super fragile. Yeah, I mean, the crown frame is totally fine. It is kind of flimsy, but most of these frames are kind of flimsy. You know, that's the sacrifice that we get with lightweight. So, yeah, run it. I mean, as long as it's flying okay in that frame, it's going to be totally fine. But, like, if you break that frame or if you're pulling it apart, maybe change it over to one of the Cockroach frames. YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. Rocketech says, 64% says no fire. Most are betting smoke, I think. I mean, not me, but lol. BLD says, I smell smoke. Alec Dvornik is in the house. How have you been, brother? How the hell are you? He says, hope you're doing well. I am. Hope you're doing well as well. Hockey Round says, electricity travels at 167,770 miles per hour, says Google. Nice. Chronic Nugget says, why would you want to live in New Jersey? It's very close to Philadelphia. There are mountains. There are seasons. It's very close to New York. It's a blue state. Lots of other reasons. The show Jersey Shore is a show about a bunch of assholes that happen to live in New Jersey. That show does not represent New Jersey in any way. It's just, yeah, MTV finding the biggest assholes in the entire state and pointing cameras at them. They could go to any state and find the dozen or so biggest assholes, and it would be much more of a shit show than the Jersey Shore show. So yeah, New Jersey is actually a wonderful place to live. Incredible school systems too. Just, yeah, one of the best places to live in the U.S. for sure. One of the other cool things about New Jersey is that so many people think that it's a bad place to live that, like, they stay away. And like, you know, like, the people that are in the know are people that, like, talk to each other and are, you know, like, look, you're now somebody that's in the know. I'm telling you this. And so now you know that New Jersey is actually a cool place to live, right? Like, the people that are, yeah. Never mind. It keeps a lot of douchebags away. There we go. That's the good thing about the show Jersey Shore, is it keeps a lot of douchebags away. Rocket Tech says, did you just pull batteries out of an old metal Band-Aid box? I did. It's not old, though. It's a new metal Band-Aid box sold by WeBleed FPV. And it actually comes with WeBleed FPV Band-Aids. This is my absolute favorite storage system for Tiny Whoop batteries. It's metal, so if they catch on fire, they won't, you know, they'll be contained. And it's like just the right size to hold a whole bunch of these little bastards, right? So these are all 550s. And then the 450s double stack in there, like that. And it's like, it's deep enough too, where you can take one of these excellent little Beta FPV cell checker / chargers and drop it right on top. And then you've got your little charger, your cell checker, and a whole bunch of batteries. You can fit a lot of batteries. The 300 mAh batteries, you can fit 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You can fit like 20 of the 300s in there. And then if you really wanted to, you could put a couple more sideways on top. It's just the right width for that as well. Yeah, I love these things. These are excellent. WeBleedFPV.com, my friends. Use my affiliate link over on CiottiFPV.com. Carl FPV says, I missed what motors you're using in the 2S build. For the moment, I'm just using an extra set of motors that I have here, which are the Flywoo 1002 23,500 kV. I don't think they're actually 23,500 kV. I think they're closer to like 20,000 or 21,000. But that is way too high of a kV for 2S. So you're going to see me in a moment when I get into the PIDs tab. I'm going to motor limit them down significantly. Again, these are just a set of motors that I had laying around. At some point here, I'm probably going to go with RC & Power 1002 14,000 kV motors. I think those are going to be the right ones for this. Those are the motors that I have on my favorite of these two, what I call tiny lifters. These are builds that I did a long time ago, years and years and years ago, that are set up to carry the Insta360 Go 2 as like a little, you know, Cinelifter, but tiny, thus the name Tiny Lifter. And yeah, so I have two of these. One of them is on the Beta FPV 1102 18,000 kV motors, and they're motor limited down. The problem with those motors is they're nowhere near as well balanced or as tough as these RC & Power 1002s. I like that they're 1102s, but I get much more jello and vibrations with those motors. I don't think the material that they make the motor shafts out of is as strong. And I think that those motors are just not as well balanced out of the box. These RC & Power 1002s have been awesome. And this rig has less jello, and it seems to have the same amount of power as that other rig. these 14,000 kV motors are fully uncorked. They're at 100% motor limiting, and on 2S they rip. I would just pull the motors off this because I don't really fly this all that often, but I've switched these motors over. Since this is a newbie drone build, I've switched these motors over to the newbie drone specific plugs, so I can't just, and I'm not going to swap the plugs out because, yeah, this is a rig that I love, even though I don't fly it all that much. When I do fly it, it's awesome because it carries an Insta360 Go 2, and it's infinitely small. I wish it was a little bit quieter, but hey, when you're picking up a 26-gram camera, it's going to have to make some noise. It's going to have to move some air, and that's going to make some noise. But yeah, these tiny lifter builds are awesome, and they're where I kind of figured out 2S to some extent. Although, admittedly, I'm still a noob to 2S, so there's still more to learn. Those tiny lifters I built, like I said, like a long time ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Back then, there were like no motor options. Nowadays, there's tons of different motor options. So with this Walksnail 2S Freestyle build, we will be diving more into what is the best motor for this kind of rig. It's just, at the moment, yeah, had these motors, let's throw them on, motor limit them down, and figure out, like, one of the really nice things about putting a motor on that's way too high of a KV is that you can motor limit it like way the hell down to make sure it doesn't catch on fire, and then you can just do the math, right? Motor limit it down to 50%, do the math to figure out what the right motor would be at 100%, and then, so in this case, like, just for the ease of math, let's say that these are 22,000 kV motors, right? I motor limit them down to 50%. That's the same as 11,000 kV motors, right? At full tilt on 2S. And so I fly it around, and it doesn't have enough power. Now I know that 11,000 kV is not enough. Now I motor limit it up to 70%. I ain't doing the math, but see what I'm saying? And you can creep the motor limiting up step by step by step until you get to the point where you have the amount of power that you want, and then you do the math, and you say, okay, cool. Can I find a motor that is 15,500 kV? If so, awesome. Run that motor at 100%. To me, though, the better scenario is to get a motor that's a little bit higher. Instead of, if you do the math and it ends up being 15,500, actually look for a 16,000 or even a 17,000 or even an 18,000 kV motor, and then don't run it at 100%. Run it at 90% or 85%, because that gives you a little bit of headroom. If at some point you want more power, you don't have to buy another set of motors. You go into fucking Betaflight, or you go into your OSD and you turn the goddamn motor limiting up, and hey, you got more power now. It would be really nice if all the motor manufacturers would take one wind out of all of their motors and just sell them and crank the KV up for us so that we can use motor limiting more often. But they don't listen to reason, and they would lose money because they know that people buy the wrong motors and then have to rebuy. So, whatever. What do I know? I just build here. Curtis Hayes says, just replaced my Mobula 8 frame and accidentally put the stack on toilet tank orientation. What's best, remount it correctly or turn the flight controller orientation to Betaflight? Remount it correctly, in my opinion. Actually, change the orientation in Betaflight for now, and then the next time you have to pull it back apart, fix it then. This way you're not fatiguing the plastic by taking the screws in and out an extra time, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, do that. Arcs UK says, oh yes, I had that issue with the V3 frame. I had to use different props. We'll actually be okay. So with the blades of the propeller, if these are the blades, when you make thrust, they bend up a little bit. And these propellers are hitting on the bottom of the ducts. So I should be fine. We'll see. Turtle mode might be the problem, but under regular thrust, they've already self-clearance, so it should be okay. YouTube just did the thing. There we go. Crom says you need to select the version of Bluejay first for the PWM frequency to be displayed. I thought I did that. Well, it defaults to 0.19. Half Fast says, why do you clearance the motors? I'm not clearancing the motors. I'm clearancing the props to the frame. So this frame, apparently this frame, how can I show you this? All right, so, yeah. You'll be able to see this for sure. This is the Mobula 7 V4 frame. And when they designed this frame, they had short, 2mm tall, motors in mind. Why does it work when I do that? And so the height of everything on this frame is set up for short little 2mm tall motors, right? See how the propeller is peeking out up above the duct a little bit, right? Remember that. So this Mobula 7 V4 frame was really, it's shallow. You can see this top here to bottom here is very shallow. This Mobula 7 V3 frame, I mean, you can even see it. You can see how much taller it is. You fucking piece of shit. Can you please just work once? There we go. And you see how the motor is the propeller is buried down in there. So what's going on is that the propeller, see over here on the right, is just barely nipping on the top of that support there. It's kind of hard to see it, but you can kind of see how it bent the tip of the propeller down a little bit, right? And so that's what was clearancing, is that the tip of the propeller was just smacking like right there. And so by just spinning this thing up, and then what I was talking about a second ago is that what you want to remember is that when you're making thrust, it's going to push air down and it's going to push the blades up like that. And so that's going to make this situation better because it's hitting on the bottom, right? So, but the problem could potentially be is when I go to turtle mode, it's going to push thrust up and it's going to push the blades down, right? And so there might be, it's happening right now. It's hitting that. See on the bottom left there? I'm pushing the blade down a little bit. I'm pushing the blade down and then it hits right there. And so once I get this thing bound, I'm going to fire these motors up in turtle mode and see what happens. A lot of times what will happen is if it'll just self-clearance. It'll just knock the tip of the propeller blade off, and that's fine because it's going to knock that one off, and it's going to come around, it's going to knock this one off, or it's just going to bend them. So yeah, it should be fine, but we'll get to see in a minute. But yeah, motors don't clearance. There's really nothing. If you ever spin, if you do a fresh build, and you spin the motors up and you hear a clicking noise, the motors are usually either hitting the battery, the motor leads, which is bad. You want to fix that. They might be hitting the battery lead, which is bad. You want to fix that, or they're hitting on the frame. And like a lot of times, if you just spin them up real quick, it'll self-clearance. Or if you put it into turtle mode and spin them backwards, they'll self-clearance. It's a fairly common thing. You don't want to fly it with that clicking noise though, because that clicking noise is creating vibrations that are going to get into the gyro and make it fly like ass. So you want to make sure that you clearance the motors and the propellers and the frame. Sorry, you want to make sure you clearance the propellers and the frame. The motors don't clearance. The motors just spin before you fly the thing for real, for that reason. Make sense? Good question, brother. All right, let me get this. I got to get going here in Betaflight. So let me get this plugged in. Hang on a minute, chat. Let's start to get this thing set up. So ports tab. I ended up having to move the VTX, and I moved it onto UART number 4. So, oh, look at that. They already have it set. They have the MSP already on UART 4. So I just need to come over here and do VTX MSP plus DisplayPort on UART 4. And so we are now good. This has internal ELRS, so we don't need to do anything with this serial RX. We just need to save and reboot now that we've set that OSD up there. So we're going to reconnect here. Ports, double check it just to make sure it's saved. That's good. That's good. Awesome. Configuration. Craft name is me. This is only an F4. All right, so see down here the CPU load. That's a little high. 70% is a little bit too high. So we're going to ease that by taking the PID loop frequency down to 4K. We can also turn off the barometer. And the maximum arming angle, we're going to make 180, which turns that safety feature off. FPV camera angle is at 0. That's good. Permanently enable air mode. That's fine. LED strip. That's fine. OSD. Good. That's all set. D-shot beacon configuration. We want to turn these on. This is going to allow us to run the ESC beeper. Accelerometer roll trim is at 20. What the hell's that about? I get. Oh well, that's just showing me from this. All right, so let's save and reboot because those are the changes we want to make in config. And all right, so let's see what the hell's going on with the gyro here. This is nose down, nose up. All right, so this is wrong. This is roll left. This is roll right, and so this flight controller is rotated in here. So I don't do it. I just guess. So I'm just going to come in here to it's rotated in the yaw direction. I'm just going to guess 90 degrees of yaw for the board alignment. And we're going to save and reboot and see what happens. It's quick. You save it and reboot it. You reconnect it. You come here. You see if it's correct. Nose down, nose up, roll left, roll right, yaw left, yaw right. Good to go. Now we're going to put this thing flat on the desk, and I'm going to accelerate. I'm going to calibrate. I'm going to accelerate the calibrometer. I'm going to calibrate the accelerometer. All right, good to go. And now I'm going to go back into configuration and see. Ah, yeah, okay. This is new here. Accelerometer trim. This didn't used to be here. This is pretty cool, actually. So yeah, we're good to go. All this stuff needs to be set on. This is good to go. Save. I don't really need to save and reboot, but I clicked it anyway. And all right, back into it. Ports is done. Configuration is done. Power and battery. It's 2S. I'm going to move the maximum cell. Since it's... Are these high volt? They don't say high volt on them. Maybe they do. There's some tiny text down here. 2S 75C 7.6 volts. 7.6 cut in half is 3.3? No. 3.6? No. 3.8. 3.8. And that's the storage voltage. Man, I don't know if these Tiny Whoop batteries are high volt or not. Let's take a look on their website. Because if they're high volt, I want to move that maximum cell voltage up a little bit. Brandon wants me to go up to 4.4.3 for the ICM gyro fix. Maybe it doesn't have the ICM gyro. Let's take a look. To figure out what gyro, you type status into the CLI, and then you squint because it's tiny. Damn it, ICM 42688. All right. God damn it. All right, hold on. Somebody in the chat says yes, the Tiny Whoop batteries are high volt. Great. All right. I'm going to update the goddamn thing. Hold on. I'm going to back it up first, though, because I did make a couple changes that we can bring across. I'm going to do this the way that young people do it. I'm going to come in here, and then I'm going to hit Save Backup. And then we're going to save this to the desktop. If you're going to do that, open this up and make sure that there's text in it. I've done that before, and then this is just empty, which is bad. So yeah, and this here, this is just a diff. I can just grab this and dump it into the CLI if I need to. But we got some stuff in here. So this has saved the shit that I've done thus far. So now we're gonna go to update firmware, and I might as well go to 4.5. There's no reason not to. Full chip arrays, that's good. D-shot, great. Telemetry automatic. Yeah, crossfire, that's fine. Load firmware online. Flash firmware. I already created a backup. And it looks like it is Betaflight F405, which looks to be correct here. It's erasing. All right. Crom says, when you flash Bluejay... Oh, yeah, we got that one. Striker says, hey, in Orlando, tripped Islands of Adventure. One spot I've seen in several rotor rides. That's cool. I'd love to visit, but I have no idea where it is. Focus for Life says, so I can run 11,000 kV on 3S and throttle it down to what feels better. I have 8,000 kV and it feels lacking. You can indeed. Although, I mean, if 8,000 is not enough, 11,000 is probably perfect. You can probably run 11,000 at full stank, but to be safe, limit 11,000 down a little bit just to make sure. Striker says, stream is shitty for me. Internet just sucks in Orlando. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't have any dropped frames, so it's probably just you. Especially if the internet sucks. Yeah, it's you. Hockey Round says, are you running 4.4 for HDOSD? It had 4.4.1 on it, and I was going to just leave it, but that makes Brandon angry. And if I've learned anything in life, it's to not make Brandon angry. I don't know. Brandon is awesome. There's no reason to not make Brandon angry. I mean, don't make Brandon angry. There's no reason. He's a an amazing guy that helps all of us out a ton. So yeah, don't make Brandon angry. But if you do make Brandon angry, nothing's gonna happen. He's not like a crazy person or anything that I know of, at least. I'm gonna recalibrate. I'm gonna re-accelerate the calibrometer. And that's good to go. All right. And now, so I'm going to try the... Oh, I didn't need to do that. I'm going to try the young person thing. I'm going to go into presets. I'm going to click load backup. And then I'm going to click on this file and open it. And apparently, that saves me from having to copy and paste into the CLI. Which, I mean, I don't... Whatever. It doesn't really save any time. But hey, young people like to click buttons rather than... type things, and they're not wrong. Is the calibrometer still accelerated? It looks like it. 0 degrees, 0 degrees. Good to go. Brandon says you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Ports, I don't trust anything, so I'm going to double check it all. See, now why the hell did that happen? It turned the fucking Serial RX off that was on UART 3. Why did that happen? I'm going to turn it back on. See, this is what I don't like about changing the version of the flight firmware that's on AIOs or flight controllers. It's that, like, why? Why did that turn off? What else that was the default from Betaflight has now been deleted by me updating it, right? When you buy a bind and fly, for the love of God, don't update the firmware. Just fly it. It's a bind and fly. If it doesn't fly right, send it back and tell them to send you one that flies properly. So since these batteries are high volt, I'm going to move this maximum cell voltage up to 4.5, just to be safe. I'm going to leave everything else alone here. The minimum cell voltage and the warning cell voltage, I'm not going to move down because this is not a 2S rig. I will set the capacity to 300. That helps in the OSD. Failsafe, leave it alone. Don't do what I do. Connects, presets. Let's do the Express LRS 250. What the hell? I'm gonna go cinematic. ELRS receiver connection. I don't know. I don't know what this board is. Let's see if TinyWhoop will tell me. Flight controllers. This is the F4 12 amp. Version 3. Serial ERS. Hey, that's cool. It told me. Serial. That's interesting. Oh, yeah. No. We're good. SPI is old school. Voltage telemetry readings. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Pick. Save and reboot. Okay. You would think it's SPI because it's on board, but they've changed it. On a lot of the new AIOs, they're doing a serial on board. Bing bong. F your life. PIDs, we're going to leave completely alone other than bringing the feed forward down because I hate the way it makes the footage look. And I am going to add just a little bit of extra pitch PID gain, but everything else I'm just going to leave for the first hit here. This 2S Tiny Whoop thing is kind of uncharted territory. Let's take the iTerm Relax down to 10 because it's a freestyle rig, not a racing rig. Motor output limit. This is important. We're going to bring it all the way down to 70%. Here's how you would do the math. These motors are technically 23,500. They don't perform like it, but... and then, so if I multiply that by 2 for 2S, at 100%, they are 47,000 kV. That's too much. I'm now going to multiply that by 0.7, and that's going to give me 32,900 kV. That's what it would be if it was 1S. That's still way too much. There's an easier way of doing this. Hold on, let me think about this for a second. What I want to get to is 14,000 kV, right? So if we go 14,000 kV, multiply that out by 2, it's 28,000. So we want to get from 28,000 down to 23,500. So if we multiply by 0.6, I'm doing this. Hold on. I'm doing the maths. I'm not mathing properly. Hold on. Let me think for a second. I don't care. You don't need to think. Look, motor limit it down a bunch. I'm going to motor limit it down to 60%. That's going to get me plenty close. That's almost cutting it in half. It'll be fine. 60% motor limit. Dynamic idle. Technically, I think we can turn on because it's 2S. You want to leave it off on 1S. But I'll just leave it off just for the sake of it. Save it. Thank you, chat. 60% would get you to 14,100. There we go. Perfect. So 60%. Great. Rates. You do want to put your rates in. There's no reason not to. On the first hit, like, you know, it's whatever. We're not going to fly it hard, but, like, you're going to put your rates in at some point anyway, so you might as well throw them in there. Throttle Expo, I'm going to leave off. Why do I feel like there's something missing here? Where the hell's TPA? Oh, right. 4.5 has moved TPA over to the PIDs tab. That looks weird like that. Filter settings. Look at all this gyro low-pass filtering. Jesus. We're going to turn off gyro low-pass 2 because it's not dynamic. And I'm going to assume that even though it's 2S, the gyro filtering doesn't do jack shit, and I'm going to take that filter slider and move it all the way up. I am going to leave the D-term filter slider at 1.0. That's going to provide a ton of D-term filtering. Gyro RPM filtering is normal. Dynamic notch filtering, I'm going to move this max frequency up a little bit. But other than that, I'm going to leave it. This is a lot of filtering, but that's what I want on the first try. Receiver tab. We can't do a whole hell of a lot until we've got it bound, other than getting it onto TAER, adding a little bit of deadband, and changing the stick low and stick high thresholds. Fine. We'll get it bound up. Will this bind receiver button work, I wonder? Let's see. I'm going to assume that this is on ELRS version 3. Sometimes the bind receiver button works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see if it'll work. I'm always kind of curious. Alright, I've got the ELRS 3.0 module on here. Let's come up to bind mode, and let's see. Bind receiver. What's going to happen? Nothing. I'll just plug it and unplug it 3 times. It'll be fine. Oh, wait, no. Hold on. Yeah, it's not in bind mode. It's not binding. Actually, let me do that right now. Might as well get it bound now. Unplug it. So we're going to plug it in once. Unplug. Twice. Unplug. 3 times. That should have it in bind mode. Now let's hit this button. It says binding. Listen for the beep. No beep. Try it again. Hey! Holy shit on a shingle. Although it's not showing up as bound yet. Let's try it one more time. Alright, let's power cycle the quad. Sometimes you have to. Alright, let's see if... There it is! Hell yeah! Wow, I haven't had to power cycle the quad in a while. Usually it'll pop right back up. Man, it would be so nice if there was like any consistency with an FPV. Is that too much to ask for? Yes, it is. Oh well. All right, here we go. Into the receiver tab. And hey, look at this fancy shit. All right, here's how you check your stick high and stick low thresholds. You go bottom left with both sticks. To do it really fast, you go bottom left with both sticks, and that'll bring all of these levels. I'm going to try to do it one-handed so I can show you guys. That'll bring all these levels down as low as possible. You can see the roll. If I push a little bit harder, I can get it down to 1,000, but that's not good. See how it's... I'm pushing it like a normal amount, and the roll, well, also the yaw, they're not dropping down below 1,000. I'm actually going to fix that in this transmitter. That has bitten me a couple of times. Hold on. Where is that? In the mixer? No. It's in the outputs. What's the throttle at? Throttle is at 992. That's perfect. 2002. Yeah, it's fine. That's full throttle. That's fine. So the throttle is fine. Roll. I'm going to edit in the transmitter. You guys can't see this, but I'm just going to take the sub trim. What did I just say? Roll? Yeah, so watch this, right? See how the roll's at 999? I'm going to change the sub trim here because I want it to go a little bit lower than that. I guess it's not the sub trim, or do I have to exit out of there? Hold on, I guess it's not the sub trim. It's the min. I need to move the minimum down a little bit. So roll all the way to the left, and the minimum, there it goes. See it? That's me rocking the thing on the controller. So I'm going to bring it down to 995. And that's just me changing the minimum. And then if I go all the way to the right on roll, see how it only gets up to 2,000? That's not quite enough. I'm going to move the max up here. So the max is at 98.0 at the moment. I'm going to just bring it up a little bit. Get this up to 2005. And there we go. That's all set. And so that was roll. We're now going to do elevator, edit, minimum. And so elevator is pitch. So minimum, we're going to take that down a little bit to get it down to 995. You'll never have to do this again. Nobody will ever have to do this until they get a new transmitter, which is what I did recently. And then we're going to bring it up to 2005. You just want a little bit of extra leeway. You're sacrificing a little bit of boy, I cannot think of the word. You're sacrificing a bit of range is a word that I guess that I could use. And I'm going to do the same thing on yaw here. I'm going to bring it down to 995. And then for the max, 2002, bring that up to 2005. Resolution is the word I was groping for. You're going to sacrifice a tiny little bit of resolution, but it's going to be totally fine. If you get that wrong, you could have a situation like with the throttle, where if the throttle doesn't bottom out low enough, if the throttle doesn't go below 1,000, it won't let you arm. And so the throttle is the really important one, but the other ones, you just want to make sure that they're below your... the other option is just to not do your stick low threshold as low. If I put the stick low threshold to 1,005, I wouldn't have had to make a change. And then the stick high threshold, I would have put that to like 1995. So you can do it in here, you can do it on the transmitter, it doesn't really matter. Alright. And so that is all now good to go. We are bound up aux 1, aux 2, and aux 3. All is right with the world. Alright, save that, even though I don't think I made any changes just now. Modes! Arm, aux 1, you can test it since we're bound. That looks good. Angle mode, don't use in my opinion. Horizon, I actually do kind of like using. As an, oh shit, I lost video switch, and I like to put it all the way up so I can just flick this switch forward on the transmitter with my left index finger, and it'll turn on horizon mode and level itself out. That's why I calibrate the accelerometer. Beeper! You know, these are just my modes. There's no reason for you guys to use these modes. But beeper, I always like to put it on the all the way down switch position. I don't like to put the beeper in the middle switch position. It used to cause problems with turtle mode. Apparently they've fixed it, but I just, yeah. In case they haven't fixed it, this is an easy fix. Put beeper in the all the way down switch position. Don't put beeper in the middle. OSD disable, we're not going to do. Black box. I think this does have black box. So we're going to put that here. Aux 2 all the way forward, which turns off the OSD, which is a dead giveaway that I'm in black box mode. Flip over after crash is on aux 4. I don't want it there. I want it on aux 3 in the middle. And that's there. Great. Launch control, because it's fun. Aux 2 in the middle. Yep. And that's it. Look at this. Ready. What the hell's that? What's ready? Added in 4.4. You can now show ready in the OSD. That's kind of cool for racing. No shit. Huh. Very cool. Save it. Cloudhopper says, how high can you safely set the beeper and beacon strength and not hurt the motors? It depends on the motor. If it's a big wide motor, well, there's no airflow. It's a really good question. I don't know. I've doubled it. I've doubled the stock settings before, and I don't ever think I've hurt a motor. But what the fuck is that noise? Oh, it's the garbage disposal. Yeah, I don't know. I've doubled it, and I've never really felt the motors get super hot. But the more you push it up, the hotter the motors are going to get. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good question. I want to go back into ESC configurator to see if I did things out of order to be able to see what the PWM frequency is. So plugging in a battery, and we're going to connect. Read settings. All right, reading ESC number 2. Oh, the transmitter is on, which is why it's being a dick. Hey, there we go. Okay, flash all ESCs. Bluejay, CX70, 0.19. There it is. Good call. Good effing call. Okay, 0.19.2, 48K PWM flash. And these are all set to reversed, which I need to remember. It should maintain that, but I need to remember that. Good call, Crom. Thank you for that. Half fast. Oh no, we got that. Arcs, thank you for looking up that they're HV batteries. Crom as well. Compy says, are you going to set your angle rates linear like some have been doing after moving to 4.5? No, because I don't use angle mode. So yeah, I haven't. I know they did some apparently really cool stuff with angle mode, but I can't fly angle mode worth a shit. Chronic Nugget says, I have a diamond board that displays only the OSD and a gray background. The cameras are fine. I checked them with another board. So what that means is that either the camera plug or the camera trace from the camera input on the board to the OSD chip have failed, or that leg on the OSD chip has failed. So yeah, that's a weird one. That's pretty rare. But like, if it's I don't remember. I think it might be a camera plug. See if you've bent one of the pins inside the camera plug, because that's the only real option. If the camera's good, then yeah, the video between wherever the camera is hooking up to the AIO and the OSD chip has shit the bed. Rabbit says, got a flight controller that while setting up Betaflight will stop connecting. I can set it into DFU and reflash, but it does it again while setting up in Betaflight. I've done this 5 times, board is clean. That's super weird. Alright, they're all still reversed. Let me think about that for a second. ESC power rating 2S plus, the brake on stop, great, okay, good. Hey, there's the normal beeps I'm used to hearing. Okay. Don't need that. And I kind of think that we're sort of all set up, aren't we? No. Wait, yes. No. Bidirectional D-shot is on. 14 motor poles is not correct. Yeah, no, it's not correct. We want 12. So let's fix that. D-shot 300. Bidirectional. I am using motor idle. I'm not. I'm going to turn on the dynamic idle. I really do like what the dynamic idle does, and this is 2S, so we're going to use it. A really simple general value for the dynamic idle is 30, and that's where I leave most of my stuff. So let's turn that on. Where the fuck is OSD? What? It's turned on in here, isn't it? Whoa, what the hell? Okay, that's super weird. Again, this is why I don't flash boards unless I absolutely have to, because weird shit happens. Like, where'd the rest of the options go that were in configuration as it ships from the factory? Oh, 4.5 moved stuff all over the place. That's right. Okay, so yeah, that's why I didn't have OSD, because it wasn't turned on in here. That's weird, though. Oh. Okay. This is a great example. This is a perfect example of something that bites us in the ass all the time. And this is why I always say, like, don't use diffs unless you absolutely have to. And unless you really know what you're doing. Going into the presets and backing up the board, it doesn't actually back up the board. It just tells the CLI to do a diff and to write a text file, okay? Diff. Different. It only shows you what is different from the hex that has been flashed on by the factory. This board came from Betaflight with a bunch of stuff already configured in the Betafpv hex that they have on this board. I then changed some stuff, but their hex had the OSD turned on. I did not change that. So when we grabbed the diff, I hadn't changed turning the OSD on. And so OSD being turned on was not in the diff. I then grabbed the diff, I reflashed it to 4.5 on the generic Betafpv F405 target. And apparently, in that target, OSD is turned off. I then loaded the diff, and I had, on the previous hex that was on here, OSD was turned on, and so there was nothing in the diff to turn the OSD on. And that's why just now I had to manually turn that OSD on. This is where things get really hairy with using diffs, using that stupid preset back. It's not stupid, but see what I'm saying? This is where using a diff can bite you in the ass. Luckily, in this case, it was just the OSD. It wasn't a big problem. But God knows what else there is buried in, behind the scenes. Resource reassignment could be something that really makes your life hell, right? So, yeah. Don't always just immediately update everything. The previous versions of Betaflight, in most cases, were totally fine. In this case, Brandon pointed out that in the version of Betaflight this was on, which is 4.4.1, there's some weirdness with the ICM gyros. So I chose to update it. If Brandon hadn't said that, I would not have updated this, and we would be probably flying this thing around already. I'm glad that he mentioned that, because the ICM 880, I forget the number, is kind of a pain in the ass gyro. It's MPU 6000 is my favorite ever. BMI 270 is somewhere in the middle. ICM is one of my lesser favorites. They work fine. I have plenty of tiny whoops that have those gyros, and they fly okay. I can't push the PIDs quite as far as the ones that have MPU 6000s, but yeah. So yeah, don't always look. If you're gonna update your shit, have a reason. Don't just do it because you think you should or because you see people on the internet doing it. Have a reason to update it. And with bind and flies, don't update them. Fly them. You bought it as a bind and fly. You spent extra money, maybe not in some cases, but like you bought it as a flying rig, so fly the rig. Fly it until it explodes. Don't just update stuff. It's such a nightmare. It can be such a nightmare. So much so that I forget which manufacturer it was. It might have been Flywoo. Put out a thing on Facebook that said, if you buy a bind and fly from us and you immediately update it, we are not going to help you. And I think they retracted that pretty quickly because everybody went ballistic. But it's a complete nightmare when everybody just gets a rig and then updates it, because the manufacturers a lot of times will put specific stuff onto that, and there are only so many targets in Betaflight. There can't be one target for every single specific bind and fly and every single specific AIO. And so you will lose things, as we kind of saw here, which can be a little bit confusing. So careful with that. OSD, whatever. No, not whatever. I'll pull the OSD off of another rig. Hold on. The HD OSD, I have not done it enough times to know exactly where stuff needs to go. And so what I do at this point is I just plug in one of the other rigs that has the OSD close to what I want. Here's a great little trick for you guys. If you have any build that has the OSD the way that you want it, and you're doing another build, go into the CLI. This is a great reason to use the diff. Type DIFF, short for different. And now scroll up a little bit, and there's going to be a whole bunch of items that say set OSD. These are all of the specific OSD changes that you've made. So you come right here to the last OSD item, right? You click right after the last letter. You can't click out here. It doesn't work. You have to click right next to the letter. It's kind of annoying. But wait till you get your cursor, scroll up, and grab all of the set. Luckily, they put them all together. So just grab every single one, copy that into your clipboard, zoom back out. I have a black box log on this rig. Unplug the rig that has the OSD the way that you want it. Plug back in your fresh build or the build that you want to copy the OSD onto, and paste it into the CLI. And then save. So now plugging in the fresh build, connect, CLI, paste. You're going to see it runs through all of those. Look for red text. Red text means that it doesn't understand something. We don't have any red text. We're good. Type save. And now you've moved your OSD from one to the other. And go check it. And here. And there it is. Although it will not turn stuff off. The fact for whatever reason, the target has this stupid crosshair on, so we need to turn the crosshair off. The diff only grabs things that you have changed. So and so yeah, it didn't grab that crosshair off thing. So sometimes you'll have to turn a couple things on and off here. It's easy to find them. Because I use the double OSD setup, so whenever there's one that's only the single, I know that that's on from the factory. That's another example of the diff sometimes kind of sort of a little bit being a pain in the ass, but not really. It's just sort of the way that it works. I'm going to leave the rest of this alone. It's all fine. It's close enough. Video transmitter we don't use because it's HD. Sensors, nothing. Black box, might as well set it up. I think there is black box on this. 1K is a good general purpose. You want to log gyro scaled. And then, that's cool. 4.5, save and reboot. On Tiny Whoops, you kind of want to log at 2K, but 1K is much smaller files. This thing should be good to go, I believe. Let's see. Let's see what happens when we actually arm it with a battery and propellers on. Hold on. Get a little bit more caught up on chat. Rabbit. Boy, I don't know. It sounds like the AIO is in the process of shitting the bed. I know that's not the answer that you want, but that is a problem that I've not necessarily had before, and I just can't think of. I mean, like, there's nothing that there's nothing in Betaflight that's like, you know, there's no checkbox for like, don't disconnect for no reason. You know what I mean? Yeah, it sounds like a physical connection problem, but you've tried different cables. I'm assuming that you're not like shaking it while it's disconnecting, right? So yeah, nothing comes to mind. Sorry, brother. I wish I had an answer for you. Cement Kid's in the house. What's up, homie? All kinds of OGs returning. Rocket Tech says, did you set up an arm switch? I did indeed. Curtis Hayes says, check my picture in general nonsense. Oh my god, homie's in a tent. That's legit. In a tent watching the stream, beta flighting. There's a car outside. That's awesome. It says 11,000 feet. You're at 11,000 feet elevation. Where the hell are you? That's super cool, man. Carl FPV says, good night. It's 2 a.m. here in the UK. Catch up tomorrow, thanks. June Logo says, will you ever give the stock tune a try by flying a battery or two first? This is about as close to a stock tune as possible. Yeah, I mean, I typically don't, because I've just built so many goddamn rigs, but it's a really good idea too. It's a really, really, really good idea to run the stock tune first. Hockey Round says, all the cool kids update. Glad to be not one of the cool kids. All right, caught up on chat. Let's see what happens. I am gonna need to figure something out about the battery bay. These batteries fit a little bit loose in here, but it should be okay just for farting around 2 quick batteries just in the basement. We'll see in a minute. Hold on. Let me get the transmitter. Oh god, I have to bind Walksnail. Jesus Christ. Well, fuck it. Let's line of sight it first. Let's see what it does line of sight first. Alright, and got that. Give you guys a little bit of this. Alright, let's see what happens. Hope you guys can see that. What the hell's happening? Oh, I got the screen zoomed in. Okay, it's at the very bottom of the screen. It's flashing away. We're gonna arm. Nothing happened. Oh, I didn't give it enough time. Connect, DLRS. Connect. There it is. All right, ready? We're gonna arm it. Oh, look at that. The motors are not... The motors are starting and stopping. We'll push through it. Just for the sake of whatever. I knew it felt weird. It was in angle mode. Sounds good. Looks good. Whoa, that ain't good. So that... Oh, okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. I blipped the throttle, and then I went to 0 throttle, and it fell out of the air. That's because the motors are doing this when I arm it. So we've got to fix that. That is either a... I think I remember in the... I think I remember in Bluejay that... the startup power is already cranked all the way up, so I can move the digital idle up a little bit, and hopefully that'll fix it. But let's just take a look. Let's just take a look at a couple things. If you have this problem, here's how to troubleshoot it. And so I got the little breakout cable-y thing plugged back in. Rocketech says, can you talk about what you might do to make 1S batteries fit better? In my OG Mobula 6, it's loose. You can either wrap a little bit of tape, like electric tape or like hockey stick tape around the battery, or what I actually like to do is beef up the... there's parts of the frame in here. See them there? There's the this guy here, this little support here, and then there's one behind it. This one here. This support and this support. Those are the bottom supports, and they're really thin. And so what you can do is go in there with E6000 in the corners and just beef them up. And so right now, the corners are like this. So you go in there and you add a little bit of E6000, and it'll make the corners like that. And then that'll give the battery something to kind of push against. That's actually exactly what I'm going to do in this. I'm going to add a little bit of E6000 on the corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to just more, yeah. And plus the E6000 is kind of, it's not sticky, but it's tacky almost, and that'll keep the battery in. Skull901 says, are you in Jersey? No, but I grew up there. I lived in New Jersey for 33 years. And oddly enough, I'm going on a little family trip to New Jersey in a couple days. 2 days, Sunday. All right, here we go. Sergeant Stripes Jacket says, you didn't turn on receiver telemetry in the receiver tab. Receiver telemetry nowadays is just on. You don't have to turn that on. It's just there. As of, I think that started with the Crossfire protocol. I think with the Crossfire protocol, you no longer had to specifically turn on that telemetry tab. Let's check this first for the motor startup. Because now that I think about it, I believe that one of them was turned all the way up, and the other one still had a little bit to go. So we'll turn them both all the way up. Oh. Transmitter was still on. There we go. Yeah, okay. Well, the problem, though, is the minimum startup. Well, fuck it. Let's turn them both all the way up. Most tiny whoops come like this anyway, and it should be fine. So we're going to write settings. That maximum startup power is there. We'll probably still need to boost the, and I'm going to turn the beep strength up a little bit. 80 and 120. And then we're going to write those settings. All right, cool. So there's that. Now I'm going to turn up the digital idle a little bit just for the sake of doing it because I think it's going to need it anyway. And 30 as a digital idle, that's more like a 5-inch rig kind of setup. Tiny whoops usually need a little bit more than that. So let's take the, I'm sorry, not digital idle, dynamic idle. Let's take it up to 35, and I have a feeling we'll be okay. Motor output limit is all the way down at 60. Yeah, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. I'm tempted to start turning it up already, but yeah. All right, there's that. Let's unplug the wacky little JST, and we'll give it another line of sight hit just for the sake of it. All right, and plugging the battery in. There we go. Okay. There you guys are. All right, let's see if that's any better. Transmitter coming on. All right. ELRS connected. Here we go. Let's see. Nah, they're still having a hard time. Oh yeah, man, they stall out like a motherfucker. That's interesting. Why? I usually get away with those settings. I mean, the only real fix is just to keep moving the that digital idle up. I've heard of tiny whoops having to run that digital idle really high. I usually don't have that experience though. I'm usually able to run it really low. We could turn it off, but I really like. I keep calling it digital idle. It's dynamic idle. I really like what it does. So yeah, let's just keep turning it up. Fuck it. Crom says if you're using dynamic idle, it won't use the value from the UI on ARM. To set the idle value to ARM, you have to use... No shit. Well, that would explain it. You have to use CLI dynamic idle start increase. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't care about it on ARM. I do care about it, though, on... once it's up in the air, right? Like, when I'm zeroing the throttle out, there's a motor that's stalling out. And so, yeah, but that's super interesting. I did not know that. So let's take a look at that. So we're going to type get, and then I just copied it from there. Get dyn. Here's the easy button for doing this, right? So we're wondering about dynamic idle, right? So you come into the CLI and you type get space dyn. And now look, it's going to give you all these different dynamic options. D-term LPS. Here we go. Dynamic idle D gain, I gain, max increase. I think that, no, start increase. And there it is. Dynamic idle start increase. So you don't have to remember the whole thing. That's a super helpful little thing in the CLI. You type get space and then just start entering in letters. If you want to look up like gyro shit, get GYR, bang. It shows you everything with gyro in it. It's a super, super helpful little thing. And it also lets you dive into the CLI a little bit more. So in this case, we're looking for dynamic stuff. So there, dyn, dynamic idle, start, increase. And then you hit it, and since you're just typing get, it's just going to look at what it currently is. So hit enter, and now look, dynamic idle start increase is 50. I wonder if that's the same range as as what we get in the PID tab. 50 is obviously not enough, so what I'm going to do is highlight this line, and then instead of get, I'm going to type set space paste. That's what it currently is. It tells you what the allowed range is, which might be behind the little window there. Oh, there you go. Now you can see it. Allowed range is 10 to 255. Let's go up to, I don't know, 80. Let's give that a shot. Hit save. It's going to disconnect. Let's reconnect. And we're going to come into PID tuning, and we're just going to keep moving this motor output limit up. Oh, wait, no, not motor output limit. Dynamic idle value. There we go. So let's move 35 up to 60. It's a big jump, but, I mean, it's really having a hard time. So save it. If this doesn't work, I'm going to turn dynamic idle off, and we will just run regular idle. 12 motor poles, bidirectional, D-Shot 300, props in. Yeah, everything looks okay. Let's see. Interesting. I know other people have had this issue with Tiny Whoops before, and I've always been confused as to why I haven't. So I guess I kind of had this coming. All right, let's see if that has taken care of it. Nope. What the hell, man? I'm going to try to not zero the throttle out. Nope. God, is that impossible to not zero the throttle? There have been beta FPV boards in the past that have not jived with dynamic idle, and I'm going to assume that this is one of them. And I'm just going to turn it off. I'm just not going to use the dynamic idle on this rig. Kind of sad, but yeah, well, you know what's funny is all of the air mode is permanently on. All of the all of the Walksnail rigs can now not use dynamic idle because yeah, the 1S Walksnail rigs, I use the Beta FPV Cross AIOs, and yeah, the dynamic idle refuses to work on them. This is a Beta FPV AIO in this. What's going on, Beta FPV? Why? What are you doing? What weird shit are you doing on your AIOs that are preventing us from running dynamic idle? Holy shit, it's after 9 o'clock already. Go get some bot grinder, my friends. I am now impinging on him on his time slot. All right, so we are just going to turn... the way that you turn it off is by zeroing it out. So we're going to set the dynamic idle to 0, save it, and now what you're going to do is go into the motors tab, and you'll see that there's a motor idle here that has now, like, see the dynamic idle is now grayed out because it's turned off. So this motor idle, I'm going to go up to 6%, just so that I don't have to keep doing this. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so now I want to get Walksnail connected real quick. Bound, I should say. And then this thing will be, in theory, done. And I will shut this stream on down. God damn, I can't believe that much time went by. I did not think it was this late. Okay. Powering these goggles up. Where's the bind button? It's been a while since I've hit it. There it is, up there. Okay, so it's probably going to need to get updated, but it'll at least work. I think... where's the bind button? There it is. Okay, so bind button, and then bind button. Is there not like a fancier thing that we need to do here to bind these? I don't remember. Nope, just push both bind buttons. Man, I love Walksnail. I gotta tell you guys, that's it. We're bound. That right there, that is one of the things that really makes me love Walksnail is that it just does that. I don't have the HD60 set up, so you're just gonna have to watch me. And look, now we're good to go. Completely fine now. What is happening, Betaflight? What are you... not Betaflight, Betafpv. Why are you not doing things that allow that shit to work? I'm just going to fly it a little bit, and then I'll grab the memory card, and we'll take a quick look. And I'll kind of talk you through it. It flies great. It flies completely normal. It feels heavy for sure, because it is. But... and I can hear the propellers hitting the frame a little bit. That'll get better. Wow, full throttle. I can run the motor limiting up a little bit. It doesn't have that much power at full throttle. Tune is a little bit loose, but it's a completely stock tune. Very curious what the runtime is going to be like. This is a terrible way to test the runtime because the battery has been run down a bunch from bench testing stuff. But, hey, better than nothing. What else can I tell you? Oh boy, going up the stairs. Terrible idea, but man, it does not feel bad at all. I want to say that it feels better than the 1S rig, but I haven't flown the 1S rig in a little bit, so I'm not really sure. Hold on, let me do a little full throttle blast up here. Yeah, I can totally... you know what? I'm gonna go into the OSD and move the motor limiting up a little bit. Profile. Where is it? Miscellaneous PP? Oh, Teddy, you need to back off of this one, brother. This is not a tiny whoop that you want to get stuck in your beard. Moving from 60% up to 70%. Save and exit. Arming. Back up, little boy. Good boy. Oh, that's better. 70%'s better for sure. Even on a dead battery. Okay. Let me limp this thing down the stairs. Oh god, easy. Battery is at 3.52. We are at over 2 minutes, and this battery was pretty well drained before I stopped. Wow, with the extra power, it is significantly harder to fly. It was not a mess to fly a minute ago because it didn't have any power, so there was tons of throttle resolution. The battery has bounced all the way back to like 3.53, 3.51. Oh boy. Alright, that's a good spot to end. 2 minutes and 27 seconds. This just got more runtime on a battery that was half dead than the 1S rigs get on a fully charged battery. 2S might be the way, my friends. That is crazy runtime. Which is what I suspected we might kind of have with this. Let me take a look at what these two batteries are at voltage-wise. 7.46, 3.73 per cell. It has already bounced back to 3.73 per cell. This is the battery I'm about to run. And 7.89 total, call it 7.9, 3.94. So it looks like I ran both of these down. 3.95 is where this battery is going to start, and I'm going to run it real quick. I am also going to start pushing on the tune a little bit. You guys will get to see this in the DVR in a second. I'm not going to make you Stevie Wonder this entire thing. Yeah. Hold on. Just give me like 2 minutes. I'm going to keep talking you through it. I am going to go into the PIDs right now, though. Profile, simplified tuning, D-gains from 1.0 up to 1.3. P&I gains from 1.0 to 1.1. Fuck it. I'm going to go D-gains up to 1.4. 1.4 on the D gain slider, 1.1 on the P and I gain slider. D max, I'm going to take that up to 1.2, which is where I always put it. Save and exit. Teddy's being a little maniac. We're good. All right, so totally fine. The tune is now dialed. Although the battery is not loving life. The battery is all the way down to 3.55, 3.56. All right, so we're not getting a runtime comparison here tonight. I think that first battery that I flew is the one that I had used less. Although this battery is now bounced all the way back up to 3.56. So I'm now upstairs, flying around a little bit. Oh man, it flies fine. Lots of response on yaw, of course. We're at a minute, and the battery is hanging in there. 3.53, 3.52. Coming back downstairs. Fuck it, let's start doing power loops. Oh god. Oh god, why me? 3.51. That was a Matty flip. Let's do a tower dive. Nice little tower dive with a botched exit. 3.51 on the battery. I have the camera angle really flat. This flies really decent. Try to get one power loop. Got it. 3.4, let's bring it on in. Okay. Minute and 48 on a battery that started at like 3.8. These batteries have also been sitting here charged. Oh, you goddamn asshole. You did not DVR any of that. You're going to have to take my word for... Wait, no. No, it didn't record any of it. I'm so sorry, guys. I flew around the room. God damn it. I can't believe I didn't DVR any of that. I have the Walksnail set up to not auto-record because I crash a lot. And when you have it set up to auto-record, it stops the recording every time you disarm. And so for me, it ends up with like 100 files, and it's a total pain in the ass. I can't believe I forgot to push the fucking button. I can't do it again because I don't have any more batteries, Skull. I only got these 2 batteries because this was just an experiment. I didn't know if this would work. And so, yeah. You guys are going to have to wait over a week to get to see this thing fly. Because, yeah, there's not another live stream until July 1st. I'm so sorry. Oh, what a dick move. God damn it. That flew shockingly well. When I get back, we are going to head-to-head these 2 rigs, and I don't think that this flies any worse than this, even though it's a little bit heavier. Wow. That is really impressive. On the second battery, that I hit a Matty flip, almost the tower dive, and a power loop. I think I can maybe feel that it's a little bit heavier, but again, I haven't flown the 1S1 in a while. I've been flying the 65mm rigs, and you can't really make that comparison. That's just absurd. I did charge 6 batteries, and they do need to get discharged before I leave, so we are going to fly a couple of batteries. Again, go watch Bot Grinder. I am on his time slot. Cloudhopper, the $5 super chat, he says, have a great break. See you in July. Thank you, brother. Hang out for another couple minutes if you want, friends. I'm going to fly a few more because, yeah, I charged them, and I put 6 batteries in the title. So, let's fly. Hey, let's, no, we're going to go analog. What do I have that'll kill these batteries as quick as possible? The biggest power rig is this one. So yeah, that's what we're gonna fly. And yeah. Alright. I'm gonna fly like my actual pants are on actual fire to get through these 6 batteries. Okay, here we go, my friends. Battery number 1. I cannot believe that I didn't hit the goddamn record button on the goggles. Oh, what a donkey raping shit eater. This is the wrong ELRS module. Let's swap it. And, okay. That's the right one. There we go. All right, yo. Farewell for a week. Batteries. Ooh, this battery is not loving life. Woo, shit! Oh god, why? No. Don't be unrecoverable, please. Please don't. I mean, it is, like, right next to me. Oh, come on! Get out of there! No! Don't make me go get you! No, you're in the shoe! There's no way out. There's no way out! From the shoes! Alright, come on. Gotta fry these. Here we go. Oh, hey! So yeah, this is not going to be my normal flying. This is literally me using all the full throttle in the world to try to just rip through these batteries. But I'm crashing so much that it's going to end up taking me longer. Whew! I went through the side of it. Wish I could say that was planned, but I'd be lying. Hey! This is the most binary flying ever. These are the 0702 36,000 kV Tiny Whoop motors. Hey! On an Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop at like 18 point whatever. 18.2, I want to say, is the all-up weight on this thing. Well, okay! Where is it? There it is. Hey, what? What's this battery at? 3.4 something? Almost a little bit more. Ooh! Just sitting at full throttle around that corner. Ah! Where am I? There I am. Yikes! Alright, 3.4, good enough. Next battery, here we go. 36,000 kV, just annihilating these batteries' faces. Although the BiBlades are making their lives a little bit easier, but... battery number 2. I should actually get rid of that battery that I just flew because I just charged it all the way up and boy, it was not loving life. Come on, ELRS, you can do it. Connect, you bastard. There it is. Come on. That was awkward. Ooh. Coming close. Let's get this thing upstairs where we can eat the battery. What is with these batteries? Why are they hating life so much? Woo! That's soft catch. Oh, the hang time, yo! Oh! Oh, no. No. Wow, how did I end up in the gate? Oh, my God. It's a funny flying style. Just, like, absolutely blasting this thing in the ass. Yeah, yo, I love that gate being there. It adds such interest to a not-so-interesting spot. No! Ooh! Jesus, that carried way the hell across the room. Where am I? I think I was on this little table here. Ooh, this battery's toast. Oh, no! Don't! That whole room there is just filled with unrecoverable things. Woo! 3.4, we're done. Next! Come on, 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 come on. These batteries are a little bit old that I'm flying. These are not the much newer, fresher ones. This is a much newer, fresher battery that's going in now. So this one should be a lot better. Here we go! Yeah. Look at that starting voltage, 4.27. Oh God, why? Oh, it feels so much better too. Oh God! Wow, I think it went through the, I think it went through there. It does not, I cannot repeatedly get it through these. They're too small. It's like just luck of just throw it at them and turn it sideways and maybe it'll go through. So that was pretty wild. Ooh. Oh God, why? Why would I just fly right at it? Why? Oh! Get in there! Wow, okay. This rig I have more time on than any of the rest. And you can tell. Oh no! So close. Oh, that's gonna be a big slam. Oh, missed it. Hey, a while ago. I was working on a little like flip here, but trying to. I flew through the goddamn things again. Where like turning this into a circle like that. See how cool that looks? But I don't know how to do it other than just like sitting it here and doing that. You know, I don't know how to like incorporate that. Damn, yo. Ah! Oh, I really tried to like lay that out in a super cool looking way with total reckless abandon. Ah! Oh God, I got lost. Hey, yeah. This battery's kind of coming down, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Nope. Didn't quite get there. Oh my goodness. The float! God, the fucking hang time. I really wonder if the lighter rig with less power has this same runtime. We might be starting to see the merits of no big deal. Just throw that in there, you know. We might be starting to see the bottom end of weight savings. There might be something to say for like this rig at 18 point something grams with a bunch of extra power, having more hang time. Not saying it's better or worse, but we might actually be starting to see that, which is cool. I was wondering if that would ever happen. June Loco says, practices trippy spins on the fan pole. No, I don't like trippy spins. They look terrible. And yeah, I fly these things less like a skateboarder and more like a cinematographer. And so, yeah, trippy spins can go to hell. I do stuff that, like, looks cool. Oh, God! Hopefully looks cool. Oh, shit. I tried to really get... I don't know how the hell I caught that. I tried to get really vicious with that wall ride. Oh, God! The quick decision to throw it in there. That's what she said. Hey. Hey. I hate the way that looks, but it's fun to do it sometimes. That's just adding an extra It's just in the middle of a power loop. You just keep it going. I did a terrible job of that. So in the middle of a power loop, you just keep it. You just do a full extra roll. Or you can go back the other direction, which is I think what I did a minute ago. Yeah, you can go back. Like, that's pitch forward. So it's throwing it back instead of a power loop. You just pitch it all the way forward and catch it. It looks terrible, but it's very fun to do. This thing just hammering around. This is another one of the fresh batteries. One of the more fresh batteries. Oh, that was sick. Shame I didn't land it. Oh, man. Fun to fly like this from time to time, I guess. I don't know. Shit. I usually try to be a little bit less reckless and more controlled. Shit. Nope. Don't. Come on. Just. Let me just. Can't. Come on. Oh, no! Drum set ate me. Oh! Get in there, Lewis! Yes! Woo! Shit! God, this thing flies good. Oh, boy. Yeah, so ultra lightweight is not everything, my friends. It is not everything. It's something. And there is something to be said for it, for certain. But with enough practice, even these 18-gram rigs, you can really hammer. And with enough KV, I should say, too. Whew, boy. Whoa! No! Oh my god, I couldn't drop the elevation down enough. Hitting all the wrong switches! No! Yes. This is the Dogcom battery. Which is one of the more fresh batteries that I have. What? No! Let me... Oh, God, that chair, it gets me every time. Not every time, but it's in just the wrong spot, but it looks so good there. Don't be like this. No, shit, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. No! Yay! Yo! Ah! I don't know why I just disarmed. That was not good. Jesus. It's so fun to do those. Oh! I wanted to turn that into a Matty flip, but I got on the throttle a little bit too late. What I wanted to do was... Okay. What I wanted to do was... That! Nope. I'm still not getting it. Fuck it. Yeah, relax, relax! Everybody cool! Oh god, the fucking newbie drone gates just are impossible on a whole... Okay, never mind. They're not impossible. Just improbable. Okay! Oh boy! We're in the lamp! We're good! Everything's fine, this battery's done. Hey! One more! One more battery. Fastest 6 batteries ever. Last one. This is an old moldy battery. This one's going to be rough. But hey, they can't all be fresh, less than 20 cycle Ninja batteries. Here we go, my friends. You should already be watching Bot Grinder, but if you're not, thanks for sticking around. CiottiFPV.com to support the insanity. Sure would appreciate you joining the Patreon. You're going to love it, I promise you. Take my word for it. Last battery of June. Oh, shit, nope. Yikes. Oh, God. Come on now. Oh, my God. What is happening? Ooh, now we're talking. Oh, God. Eat me. Oh, God. Whoa, it's going to kill me. Quick, 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 quick. Ooh. No, no. Oh, boy. Didn't plan that. But I'll take it. Oh, no. Hit myself. Whoa, get in there. Oh, God. Easy, easy. Relax. Everybody chill. Okay, we're all gonna die. Oh, no. Couldn't decide. Come on. Oh, no. Let's dock it up and get a good mirror flip. We're docked. Oh, that was the worst mirror flip ever! I just noticed this thing has a ton of up tilt. Look, there's no ducts in view. Oh, there's a decent mirror flip. Woo, boy. That thing just sat in prop wash there. That you guys couldn't probably hear it, but man, that sounded funny. Ah! I had to like hammer the throttle to not hit the couch. And then it had so much upward momentum that it just rocketed into the ceiling. Wow, it went through there, but you could barely see it. Man, the up tilt is bananas. Oh, shit. There it is. Ah! Man, some short run times railing this thing like... Oh, yeah, there's tons of up tilt. The up tilt that I usually like, look at the ducts, is like even less than that. There we go. Yeah, that's the up tilt that I usually like, this much duct in view. But that's okay. Walter says, play drum with the drones. I might have hit him once or twice. Sam with the last comment on the live stream, he says, what retaining compound do you suggest to fix motor shaft desync? I've been using... I can't see it because YouTube puts their stupid ass thing in the exact wrong place. But it hasn't been strong enough. My main recommendation is to replace the motors. There's no chemical that's gonna really fix that forever. And motors are pretty cheap. But there is a Loctite that's pretty good. I don't remember the number though. Hold on, I'm gonna grab it. Loctite 638. I'm going to type it into the chat. 638 is what you want. 638. You've been using 603. I can now see it. Yeah, try the 638 or just replace the motor. You'll pay less to replace the motor, but then, you know, having it for the future, you could maybe fix more. It's been great knowing you guys. If I die on this airplane from a drone strike, you guys can split up all my shit evenly. Thanks for hanging, my friends. I'll be back in July. The family and I are going to go have some fun in New Jersey and New York. That's all. Bye-bye. Here's some flying, chasing some drift cars. Where is it at? There it is. Don't do anything I want to do while I'm gone. Be good friends. Bye-bye. I'm not ready. Here we go. Hey, here's me flying around with no antennas on the goggles. I did a little bit of testing, and then I totally forgot to show any of this video on the live stream and talk about it. So when I get back, we'll either retest this or we'll talk about it. But as you can see on the beginning shot, both of the goggle antennas are sitting on the chair. You'll see. And then I'll fly around with no goggle antennas on. It's a trick that racers used to use, and I would like to, yeah, explore. Love you guys. Bye. I'll see you in July. Thanks for hanging. CiottiFPV.com. Click all the buttons. Help me do this for full-time forever. Bye, 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 my friends.